Okay, we are live. Speak Viking live. Þetta live. And I'm just kind of warming up because it's not 9:30 yet. It's 9:30 in 2 minutes, 2 mínútur. This is Speak Viking. Ég Speak Viking, þetta Óskar Bragi. And you're probably watching this because you're into Icelandic, you're into languages, you're into Iceland. And so welcome. Good to have you. I asked beforehand on Facebook and my email list if people had questions, and I got a few of them. And so we'll be covering those questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw them out there in the chat. Velkomin. Good to see you. Gott að sjá ykkur. Ég heiti Óskar og þetta Speak Viking. Góða kvöldið. Good evening. So I got a few questions and I'll be covering them in just a moment. Thank you for the thumbs up. God aftan. Sure. Já, ekkert mál. I'm not totally sure what language that is, but I think it's good evening. In Swedish, I don't know. Góða kvöldið. It's almost 9:30. I've got 2 thumbs up already. And Heia Norge. Heia Norge, Danne. Gott kvöld. So let me know in the comments if you would, if you have been subscribing for a long time and if you've been waiting to maybe see something completely different than what you see on the channel. You can let me know and I'll be happy to take a look at if I can make it what you're asking for, if I can make something on that topic. But it's 9:30 now. You gave the video a thumbs up. Thank you. Ég norsk. Já, ekkert ó í lokin. Ég skil. Já, góða kvöldið. So it's 9:30 and I was going to cover some questions that I got. First off, we got a question from a friend of mine all the way from Texas who was asking about if there are regional dialects in Iceland. And that's a great question. There is a difference between the way that people in the north of Iceland speak from pretty much the rest of the country, and they put a larger emphasis on the K's in some words. For example, most Icelandic people might say mjölk when they're saying milk, but somebody from the north of Iceland, like Akureyri, would say mjölk. Now, obviously, it's not that enunciated, it's not that extreme, but that might give you a little bit of a taste of what it is exactly. But it's definitely not anything like what it is when you think about something like England, Great Britain, where you have people speaking one dialect in this place and then you drive 30 minutes over somewhere else and the way that they sound is completely different. Hello from Walla Walla, Washington, USA. Kraken. Thank you so much, Kraken, for sending regards and greetings from probably the funniest name of a place in all of America, Walla Walla. It sounds made up, but it's fantastic. I love it. Já, ég kynnast þér frá myndband við mæður svænsk, dönsk og norsku. Afsakið fyrir íslenska mína, haha. No, that's totally fine. There's nothing to apologize for. That's pretty good. Um, so the video for the mothers of Swedish, Danish, and Norwegian. Apologize for my Icelandic. That's Gabri. Hi, Gabri. The differences between the Icelandic dialects were bigger in the past. I mean, that's possible. That's definitely possible, but you know, it's hard. It's kind of hard to know for sure, though. But for the most part, there's not a huge difference in dialects in Iceland. The main dialect that is more specific or more sort of niche or draws attention to itself is the one up north in Iceland. I hear that they also put cocktail sauce on pizza there, which is crazy, but you know, what are you gonna do? So yeah, that was the first question. Do we have regional dialects in Icelandic? Hello, Suzanne. Good to see you. Yeah, you finally got it. You're here. Welcome. So another question was from my good friend and a student in Switzerland asked, what was the question again? It was something like, do you like the volcano? Do you think the volcano is good? So for those of you following along with the news in Iceland, there is a active volcano, and whereas some of the previous volcanoes were sort of safe volcanoes that you can visit as a tourist, and they were just kind of out in nature, and you could walk to them and you could enjoy them, and marvel at the spectacle of the volcanoes. Eldgos volcano. And spectacle, there's a great word in Icelandic for spectacle, sjónarspil. Sjónarspil, spectacle. But now, in the past, I want to say like 8 months, the town of Grindavík has been affected in a really devastating way, where the whole town had to be evacuated and people lost their homes, and it's pretty awful for a lot of people, this present volcano that's going on. So the question, do you think the volcano is good? I guess not really. No, not this time around. Góða kvöldið, Marcel. Þekkjur þið fólk frá Grindavík, Gabri? Not specifically, no. Not too many people. I don't know that many people from Grindavík. Andrea, thank you for the question. I also got your question via email. Thank you so much. Herra Óskar. Nei, hérna Óskar. Hérna Óskar. Please explain the name declensions. Andrea, Andreu. So the way that declensions work in Icelandic, and I'm not the best at explaining this, but when you have a name and then you, depending on where the name is placed in a sentence, it may or may not be affected by other words, verbs, etc. And so the name changes. So whereas you usually explain, my name is Óskar, and then you give your name in the nominative, and that's sort of like the sort of baseline of your name. And then the name can change into 3 other cases. So you have nominative, accusative, dative, and genitive. So depending on where your word is in a sentence, it may be affected by other words in the sentence, verbs, and then the name changes, which is basically that's what's happening when you see your name change, Andrea. But the rest of the question about the song, so Andrea sent me a email, and she was asking about a lyric in a song and whether, like, how to suss out or figure out, okay, what does this word mean here? Why is it different here? And I think, for the most part, you can listen to, or you can take a piece of lyric and you can sort of Google translate it roughly, and you can get like the basic meaning of the song or the sentence, what it's supposed to mean. This particular song is Ég býð þín by the band Vök, and the lyrics are sort of talking about somebody who is in kind of like a low energy state, and the person singing the song is kind of higher up. Their energy is higher, but they're kind of waiting for the other person to kind of pick themselves up and rise above, and they're waiting for them. In the meantime, ég býð þín, I wait for you. And we can delve into whether that's a healthy approach or not for waiting around for somebody to have higher energy, higher frequency vibes that you can vibe with. But I think in this particular case, the song is more of a romantic song, or it's sort of love themed. So it's more of a sweeter, gentler kind of way of talking about waiting around for somebody. There's still some dialectical variation when it comes to HV. Kvalur can't be pronounced, and then I don't know, you have all these different ways. I can't really read phonetics. Hefurðu þegar búið í Hamraborg, Marcel? Kvalur. I think when you talk about like regional dialects, I think there are people in Iceland who enunciate the language more, but overall, I think something like kvalur tends to be said like this: kvalur, kvalur, kvalur. So even though it's a HV, it makes more of a K, a hard K at the beginning there. Kvalur, kvalur, kvalur. Depending on which Icelander you're talking to at the moment, their mumbling might be a lot, or it might be little. Like they might be enunciating really well in Icelandic, or they might just be so that can also be a factor. Hvað segir þú gott? Allt fínt? Já, allt fínt, allt gott, frábært. Blessaður Marcel. Ég að læra íslensku hér í Hamraborg. I am learning Icelandic here in Hamraborg. Hefurðu þegar búið í Hamraborg? I have never lived in Hamraborg, but Hamraborg has kind of been in my world for a long time. Hamraborg is the first place where I ever saw a printout of a arrow painting. I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with the Icelandic pop artist Arrow, but Hamraborg was the first place where I ever saw a printout of one of his paintings, and that had a huge effect on me when I was 6 years old. Hamraborg is also the first place where I ever saw a piece of graffiti art in one of the tunnels that they have there, and that also had a huge impact on me. Both sort of art things having an impact on me. So don't say ég býð þín to just any Viking. Got it. No, I think you can make it a good one. If it's a good Viking, then you should definitely wait around. I shouldn't say that. You can definitely say that you'll wait around if it's a proper good Viking that is like waiting around material. Uh, some people from the southeast pronounce HV as HW. Okay. Bonjour, Etienne. Ha ha ha. Uh, ha ha ha. Sacre bleu. Good to see you, Etienne. Salt goblin. Hvaða listamanni íslensks líkar þér best? Which Icelandic artist do you like the most? Ooh, that's tricky. So artist, I'm sort of thinking about like across the board. It can be anyone, any type of artist. Yeesh. It's a big question. I'm just gonna go with Óskar, the musician, because you put me on the spot. But yeah, Óskar is awesome. He's crying. My friend Salt Goblin here in the chat is my good friend Etienne, who I met while teaching English in Saigon, of all places in the world. So he's here with us, and I butchered some French, some tiny bit of French, and I think it offended his ears. It's good to see you too, buddy. Yeah. So I've covered all the questions I got, and yeah, if you have any more questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. Já, Ásgeir frábært. Ég elska líka Ástíðir og Ólaf Arnalds mjög mikið. Yeah, those are good too. Those are really good, Gabri. Best place to ice cream, best flavor. There are so many good options for ice cream in Iceland because we're ice cream insane, crazy. Is ice cream in Iceland just cream? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Of course, yeah. No, we're so crazy about ice cream that you'll have multiple places to choose from, and you'll even have places where you can get not just what the Americans call soft serve ice cream, but you can get different variations on the ice cream. Some is made from cream, and then some is made more from milk, so it's more sort of, it drips more. It starts dripping much faster. And then there are all these variations of, milkshakes and ice cream in a cone, ice cream in a cup. Then we have this crazy thing called bragðarefur, flavor fox, if you translate the word bragðarefur, where they put ice cream and they put a bunch of like chocolate and gummy bears, if you want, licorice, fruit, and they like mix it all up, and then you eat that, so it's even more sugar with your ice cream. Amazing. But yeah, there are so many great options for ice cream in Iceland that you won't even know what to do with yourself. There's so many to choose from. I like Bubbi Mortens. Yes, Bubbi is a powerhouse in Icelandic music, and he is quite the wordsmith. If you can get a hold of any of his music and the lyrics to go with it, definitely do that, because he's amazing at the craft of songwriting and making music. Very, very deep, great lyrics. Just throw a rock and pick one. It's fantastic. Oh yeah, blizzards. Yeah, blizzards. Dairy Queen calls them blizzards when you put all the stuff in there. The best ice cream I've tasted, it's licorice ice cream at Reykjavik. Okay, yeah, sure, sure. I tried to have licorice in one of these blizzards, Bræðraður, the other day, and it wasn't for me. I didn't like it, but you know, to each his own. Edward, hello. Thank you for your content. I'm learning Icelandic to become a volcanologist. Not volcanologist. Sorry, volcanologist. Volcanologist, not volcanologist. In Iceland. Iceland is very lucky to have volcanoes. Well, yeah, depending on who you ask, yes, you could say that, I guess. Gabri, ég mun búa á Íslandi í 5 mánuði frá ágúst í Kópavogur. Veitirðu hvaða sundlaugar eru bestar með fáa ferðamenn? So I will live in Iceland for 5 months from August in Kópavogur. Do you know which swimming pools are the best with few tourists? I do know, but I'm not going to share it here because then you're going to come there and then there are going to be more people. And obviously, I just want to keep the best swimming pools to myself. So no, I can't tell you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There are really a lot of great swimming pools in Iceland in general, and in Reykjavik and in the Reykjavik area. The Kópavogur swimming pool close to Hamraborg is excellent. I think because a lot of people where they come from, they're used to public swimming pools being kind of gross and not that nice, that they just have that in their minds when they think, oh, public swimming pool, how good could it be? But the public swimming pools in Iceland are beyond amazing. They're incredible. And I saw something the other day that Icelandic pool culture has been placed on some sort of list of UNESCO of, I don't know how to describe it, but you know, it is really something else, public pools in Iceland, because you have not only the swimming pools where you can swim, but you have hot tubs where you can relax, and you often won't just have like one hot pot, you'll have like a medium and a really hot one, and then a warm one which is not too hot, you know, the whole Goldilocks experience. And then saunas too. It's just amazing. Just remember to wash yourself naked before you put on your swimming attire and go to the swimming pool. Takk fyrir að þvo þig. Best salt licorice in Iceland. The more salty, the better. I don't know. I'm not the biggest licorice fan, but they have this thing called stjörnurulla, which is a roll of licorice, and then they have marzipan too, and you can get a pink one that's got pink marzipan and black licorice. And then you can get one that is like yellow marzipan and then black licorice. I quite like that sometimes. But yeah, I don't know what the licorice is the saltiest, but there's plenty to choose from. Yes, Dairy Queen, yes. Dairy Queen. Mjólkurdrottningin, Dairy Queen. Sigurós also, yes, of course, yes, we have Sigurós also. They are fantastic, they're wonderful. Ég held að það mikið listamenn á Íslandi þegar maður tekur tillit til þess að það eru bara 320,000 íbúar. Yeah, it is quite remarkable how many artists there are in Iceland when you take into account how few people there are. And yeah, that is amazing. That's a great observation. Hvað heldur þú Gæta í miðbæ Reykjavíkur? So the ice cream shop, Gæta, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I have never been. I haven't been there yet, but they have gelato, I believe. I would like to try that. I haven't tried it yet. Hello, Christoph. Hello. Thank you for your videos. My pleasure. Thank you for watching. Icelandic is such an incredibly beautiful language, such an interesting culture. What's your favorite vegetable? I think I'm just gonna go with something boring here, and I'll say the potato, because it usually what they use for French fries, which I like quite a bit. So I'll just go with that, potato. But also just a baked potato is good sometimes, and they're always kind of on the side. Growing up, having dinner at my grandmother's, there would always be potatoes usually on the sides. So I'll just go with potato. Kartafla. Potato. Soul Goblin, Etienne, you're saying, is it like Japanese onsen level in the culture? I'm not sure what that means. Can you be more specific, sir? Matt Moon, my man. Blessar, Katlin. Blessar, gott að segja þér. Jöt Sobristen, UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage, I think. So cool. So Jöt here is talking about the swimming pool culture. And he's saving me here because he's saying that it's on UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. And that's fantastic. That pretty much describes it. Yeah, because it is something that is so part of the culture, going to the swimming pool, but it's not necessarily something that, I don't know if people from abroad are aware of it or if they understand it. Like, in the hot tubs in the swimming pools is kind of like the only place in Icelandic society where you might just like strike up a conversation with a complete stranger. And I know that sounds mind-boggling probably to people from other countries, but that's kind of how things are in Iceland. People are very sort of like keep to themselves, and the only place where people really kind of open up is in the hot tubs. Heitu pottarnir. Good choice. Potatoes are very versatile. Never met a potato I didn't like. Same, Christoph, same. Ég sammála þér. I agree with you. Lego T. Do you Icelanders prefer English or Danish? In terms of speaking, I think there's not even really any competition. It's English, hands down, because there's so much of the culture, movies, television, and now the internet, like a whole nother level of just like being inundated with English. So it's definitely English. Probably the sort of first big influence that came with the English language was American radio and American television as a byproduct of the American army being stationed in Iceland. The Icelandic potatoes are the best. Oh, you've had the Icelandic potatoes, Andrea? Yes, I like them quite a bit. Yeah, they have all different shapes and sizes. Are the public pools as important to your culture as the Japanese onsen are to Japanese culture? That's very specific, Etienne. Mon Dieu, that's very specific. I'm not sure what the Japanese onsen are. Are those the hot pots? Like the hot pots where the pink apes go and hang out? Let me know. CV41 Kraken says, I buy the star licorice, stjörnulakris. Stjörnulakris, okay. And have it shipped here. Good job, good work. Matt Moon segir, haltu þessu áfram, þú ert maðurinn. Keep that up, you're the man. No, Matt, you're the man. Þú ert maðurinn. Þú ert náður Matt. Thank you. See? Etienne saw a goblin. I was not aware of the importance. Well, that's why you have me here, Etienne. No worries. I'm here to elucidate and enlighten any and everybody about Icelandic culture and, you know, what is important, what is not. Yeah. Bless, Kraken. And I'm probably going to wrap this up soon too. But if there are any more questions. Do people go to more traditional big pools more or hot springs? Going to hot springs out in nature is not that common overall. People obviously do it, but because we have this abundance of geothermal hot water, you know, pumping out of the earth here in Iceland, we are able to warm houses and keep the swimming pools, you know, pumping hot water into hot tubs, etc. And the cost is not prohibitive because of the abundance of warm water that we have. Okay, LOL. Onsen are usually naturally hot water sources where people go to bathe, and there are sometimes inns built around them. Very traditional. I was not allowed in because of my tattoos. Ah, shit. That's too bad. They look cool, but then they exclude you from the onsen. Okay. I haven't gotten any tattoos yet, so maybe I'll go there before I get tattoos, and then I can experience it, and I'll tell you about it in another YouTube live video, Etienne. No worries. Okay, so those are the places where they go and sort of bathe. Yeah. I guess I should mention that in Iceland, although you do need to wash yourself naked in the changing rooms before you go out into the pools, in the pools you wear bathing suits, and also in the saunas you wear bathing suits. I know that in Denmark, Finland, and some of the other Nordic countries, if you go to a place that's like a bathhouse, and I don't mean brothels, I mean like bathhouse, like places where you go bathe yourself, like the onsen places in Japan, it is like completely naked, but in Iceland it is not completely naked. Yeah. Yet, I think maybe this is a good final question to end on. I read a little bit about the whole Tyrkjaránið affair today, and the story of Tyrkjadutta. Do people of Iceland keep the memory of pirate abductions in 1620s in their current cultural memory? I mean, people are aware of that story, yes. Basically, Turkish pirates came to Iceland, abducted a bunch of people, and yes, I'm aware of that story. I think a lot of people are aware of that. Saw a goblin. I prefer Icelandic public baths then. Yeah, you're definitely welcome with tattoos here, for sure. I see them all the time in the public baths. Marcel, geturðu kannski segja frá hvað þú hugsar ferðamenn sem koma til Íslands og framkoma þeirra? Ég var 3 á Íslandi og oftast sá ferðamenn sem voru hræðilegir, sérstaklega í sundlaugar. Nokkrar fólk var með myndavél sem mér fannst slæmt. Yeah, you don't have to be naked with strange men. You know, introduce yourself first, and then you can get naked, and then, you know, it's not gonna be awkward, you know. Yeah, you don't want to make it awkward when you're around naked men. Yeah, you introduce yourself, and then you get naked, and then it's all fine. Don't worry about it. So Marcel is asking, what do you think about the tourists that come to Iceland and their behavior? I've been in Iceland 3 times, and a lot of times I saw tourists who were terrible, especially in the pools. Some people had cameras, which I thought was bad. They had cameras in the pools, you mean? I don't know. It's hard to sort of blanket judge all people, because people are coming from all different cultures, and different cultures just have different ways about doing stuff. Like my buddy Etienne from French Canada is not comfortable for some strange reason getting naked with other men and washing himself. Bizarre. But no, I think the tourism industry is the biggest industry in Iceland and is kind of in charge of running the country, meaning like money flowing in. So it's hard to have too much of a negative view on it. But, I think just like anything else, there are pluses and minuses, and some people are more graceful and have better etiquette than some other people. And that's just par for the course. That's what life is like. Have to mention that I love your sweater. I have several that I bought in Reykjavik, my favorites. Thank you so much, Suzanne. These are my grandmother makes all the sweaters that I wear, and I'm very lucky to have them. I agree, they're quite beautiful. The Icelandic traditional lopapeysur. Etienne, Soul Goblin. Just don't want to be naked with strange men, lol. And then again, I don't want to be around naked men, lol. Methinks the lady doth protest too much. Know what I'm saying, man? And next time in Icelandic, please. Thanks, however. Blesso, Marcel. Já, takk fyrir. Þakka þér fyrir ábendinguna. Ég get talað meira bara á íslensku. Kannski get ég gert vídeo þar sem ég tala bara á íslensku og þú spyrir spurning á íslensku og það allt íslenskt. Sometimes I'm not totally sure if I should be speaking just in Icelandic or in English, but then sometimes switching back and forth gets a little bit like and my brain implodes, but that's a good tip. I'll keep that in mind, Marcel. Takk fyrir allir. Thank you everybody for checking in and tuning in. Means the world to me that you did, and thank you for your questions. Takk fyrir spurningarnar. I'm gonna be signing off now. Takk fyrir og bless. Sjáumst seinna. Thank you, bye, and I'll see you later.